There she is.
Hello. You all right, dude?
Not too bad. Not
Tight.
too bad.
Now I've left you hanging on for another 3
That's
hours after I said I'd do this.
Never mind. All right. We've just been trying to get not get washed away in humongous flood. Hang on a minute.
OG. Not get washed away in what?
In some flooding. There's been a lot of rain.
Yeah.
A lot.
Some monsoon season.
Yeah, I don't think there's really a monsoon season. It's the middle of summer, but it's kind of a bit crazy. Lots of flooding in Germany, and a friend of mine just sent me a video of like the next town down the road.
Is it now a bit further down the road?
Yes, basically. So can you? I don't know if you're able to see this.
Oh shit!
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, oh,
that's some serious chocolate milk.
Oh dear. It's very chocolatey indeed. So that is not raining now, but it was raining before. But it's because we're right next to a bunch of rivers, so it looks like a river has burst its banks, or just a huge amount of water come down from the mountains, because we're next to a couple of not huge mountains, but pretty decent sized mountains.
Yeah,
it's a little bit wet. And yeah, in Germany, I think they've got a lot of flooding too. So that's not cool. So I didn't park my new van in the underground parking, but that doesn't look like it would help very much from the state of that.
Submarine.
Maybe I'll go and park it up a mountain tonight. Not near any landsliding bits of the mountain.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, hope that all works out for you.
Very sketchy. Let's see. Just managed to get a van last week. It's now going to turn into a boat.
Yeah,
float away.
How is the van treating you? You put some miles on it?
Not too many, because I went to Hungary on Wednesday, but I didn't go in the van. We went in another van. So I just put a few sort of running around miles, just sorting out the kit and stuff for the trip.
Mm-hmm.
Picking up, just tires and toolboxes and stuff like that. So yeah, not a lot, but it's cool. Yeah, just cruising around in that. It's nice and quiet and clean enough. Get my stuff in the back, so it's good. I know what they're like in the I've had one before. So
yeah,
it's cool. Yeah, it's good. And
ever since you mentioned vans, all I see now is vans.
Yeah, it's that. And and, one of my friends has got one as well, like exactly the same one, white one, but he's got black, like Lancia Delta Integrale type rims on it. Looks really cool.
Yeah,
it's pretty sick. And today I went shopping for the first time in 9 months. Not on a motorcycle and not on foot, so I could actually buy like 2 bags worth of shopping. That's quite good. I actually have a stocked fridge.
Yeah, you didn't have to hook the carrier bags over your crutches handles and limp home mode.
Is it like my maximum capacity is that one big bag that I've got? You've seen my big rucksack sometimes, so I bring it over when I travel. That was my maximum capacity of shopping, was that big bag. So like 30 litres of shopping. Today I could take 2 big bags of shopping, so I got
the same thing. Just spend wisely.
I had to spend really quite wisely before, and not get anything. Like, it stopped me getting anything bad as well. Like, I'm a bit partial to the old kettle chips. Stopped me getting anything with a lot of volume, with not a lot of nutritional density in there, because it's just a waste of space.
Yeah.
So I got all the stands. I actually did some cooking today, because you said about cooking last week. I haven't really cooked anything, but I just started again, basically. So I'm just like warming up again. So I just went back to the basics and did a chili.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good. I had enough stuff to more or less do that. I had to buy a bit of garlic powder, a bit of this, a bit of that, a bit of...
Do you call it your famous chili? Because that's what I'd call it.
I call it my world famous, classic, wholesome, on the range chili. Is what I call it.
Anything I make, my famous whatever.
I know
my famous
any other thing I can make,
cup of tea.
The only other thing I can make is mojito, and then that's Matito. So this would just be Matt chili con carne. Don't know.
We'll figure that out.
Yeah, we'll work that out later. So that's all good. Yeah. So ate my own food today and didn't train, because feeling a little bit like I got hit by a truck this morning when I woke up, because I did 2 days at the track. in Hungary, just doing some testing and learning about what's going on these days in that sort of environment, seeing what bikes are there. What
Was that
people are
pleasure
riding.
or business or a mix of
It's
both?
like a mix really, because we do research for brands and try and work out what things are trending and what people are doing and which way customer habits are moving and this sort of thing. So we were, one, riding, and two, doing that sort of work and just scoping things out. So it's good. But yeah, it's a surprise. It was cool. It's still really popular, probably getting more popular, which is cool, because like it's been 2 or 3 years since I rode on the track.
Yeah.
And the last time was in Spain, I was racing and practicing more than doing track day. So this was a track day, which they've been around in the UK now for like more than 20 years. And I was wondering, well, maybe they're starting to tail off because the electric thing is starting to pick up, but it hasn't really hit bikes yet. But there were just lots and lots of people there. It was full. They have capacity for up to like 60 people in a group.
Yeah.
And they had 4 groups at the track.
That's cool.
So 240 people, all with huge range of bikes, like real stock street bikes, even down to like touring bikes and some adventure bikes, like off-road GS and stuff like that. And then in the race, they have like a race group. In the race group, some like proper weapons in the race group, which is cool. So we snuck out in the race group at the end of the day. Me and my friend on our stock bikes were like, yeah, let's change to the race group, because it was on the second day. We thought it was running to the same timetable as the first day, because they started one off at 9 o'clock in the morning. So like the first group goes out at 9 o'clock, and then every 20 minutes another group goes out. But somehow they managed to do it on the second day. So they were running the same amount of people. They must have just done a short lunch break. They were in the same number of groups, the same number of people. But we thought that the first group after lunch, which was us, which was like a yellow group, like a sport group, was starting at 2. And then all the sirens started going off, because they run a siren so that you can hear that the next group is going out, and then you go down to pit lane to go out for your session. And then we heard the siren and we're like, well, I'm supposed to go out till 2. And then we saw our group going and trying. We're just like standing there in our pants, not ready to do anything. So well, let's switch to red group then, because we were going okay in the yellow group. So we thought, well, we'll switch to the red group. Switch to red group, which is like the racer group. Stock bikes, and like rolled down. Everyone had already queued up for race group when the time came, and it was like rolling down to this MotoGP grid, because everything was like just full. This won't mean much to anyone who doesn't follow bikes, but like full on BMW superbikes, Aprilia, Honda, everything. And then we're like on our stock naked bikes, these like full on road bikes. Like, hello, can we go and play?
The hood rats rolling in on their ninjas.
Yeah, that's cool.
What bike did you have?
I had a KTM 890 Duke.
Cool.
Yeah, it's cool. It's quite a lightweight bike, which is cool, but pretty agile, really agile, quite powerful for the weight of it. So yeah,
in my brain, you'll have to tell me if this is a thing or not. Is a Super Duke a thing? Or have I made that up?
It is a thing. It's the big brother of this one.
Cool. So what's the difference between a Duke and a Super Duke?
The Duke, the current Duke is 890 engine capacity, and there's a couple of versions. There's a 115 horsepower version, which is the one I had, and then there's a 121 horsepower version, and the 890 cc. So they're in like the mid class.
Yeah, it's not a small bike.
You call it. No, it's not a small bike now, but actually the entry level bikes now, like when I first got into bikes, and when you would have been maybe a bit more aware of bikes, like the entry level stuff was like 400 cc. Remember, I had like VFR 400s and FZR 400 and CBR 400 and all this sort of thing. But that class kind of died when they stopped importing those, really.
They went bang.
Well, they didn't go bang. They're just really quite aggressive. Really quite aggressive.
Oh yeah, I meant like bang into like bikes. Walls.
Oh yeah, people splattered a lot of those, yeah, for sure. But they just weren't very comfortable on the street, and they weren't very easy to use. And like the bigger the engine gets, the softer you can tune it and still get a decent amount of performance. So now the trend is more towards bikes with a bit more torque, so they're a bit easier to ride. And the little 400s are quite hard work to ride. They're fun, but for your sort of average person coming into
too much like hard work.
Yeah, basically it's that. And that was also what killed the super sports, really, the ones that I like a lot. The 600s had the same problem. They were just really compact, and you had to rev them a lot. And now they've sort of shifted towards this slightly bigger capacity, but with a bit more mid-range for the street. And the Duke is like that. It's really lightweight. It's not much heavier. It's not much heavier than a 400, really, one of those old school 400s, but it's got about twice the power and like a more comfortable riding position. And it's quite an easy thing to ride on the street, but also works really well on the track, which is cool. So I rode that for a couple of days and just seeing how you can convert it from the street to the track, and you convert it really, really quickly, really fast. The headlight comes off super easy. You can pull the tail light off the null plate really easily.
Quick release track.
You can do it in like 10 minutes, probably. Really good, really cool. So there's that, and then the Super Duke. So the original question of what is the difference between that and the Super Duke? The Super Duke is a V-twin, so the 890 Duke and the 890 Duke are parallel twins. 890cc, and the Super Duke is a 1290, and it's got 180 horsepower. So she's a beast, basically.
Yeah, man.
It's like the top of the range Halo beast. Yeah, that is a weapon. And it's a really, really good bike to ride on the street. I haven't ridden one on the track, but hopefully we'll get to ride on the track soon. But on the street, it's really sounds like it's a lot of power, and a lot of bike was actually really manageable, really smooth, really accessible power, great brakes, really good suspension, quite an aggressive riding position, but actually pretty comfortable for what it is. Yeah, and just a really fun bike to ride. And it's got a lot of electronics as well on it, which are like rider aids, so traction control, and you can change the throttle response. And it's got a couple of different types of ABS modes in it, so you can really tailor it to what you want, really, to ride it on the street. It's really
a bit easier than getting bashed to bits on a motocross bike for a couple of days, and a bit less stressful on the bod.
Yeah, it's still hard work because you're doing 20-minute sessions, and then you're doing 20 minutes, and we were doing 20 minutes every hour. So it's not super intense. And the motocross is a little bit more spread out when you do a race weekend, because you're doing, say, 10 minutes plus 2. So it's 15-minute sessions. Then you maybe only do 4, but we did 6 sessions.
Bit less
and
jumping.
It's just the stress is a bit different, because there's lots of hard braking with the road bike, and you don't really brake so hard with the motocross bike, or at least not at the pace I'm going yet. But the landings from the jumps are what tire you out really with motocross. And then when the track starts to get rough as well, and it's quite hard work to hold on to the bike. Yeah. So you get a bit of variation in intensity through the day with motocross, but with the road bike, it's you start off quite slowly, because when you go to a new track, you have to learn the track and learn where you're going, learn the lines, learn where to brake, understand the bike, understand the tires, understand the grip. Is there anywhere on the track where there's low traction or bumps or something you have to avoid? And all this takes quite a while before you can really start to push and actually get tired. If your fitness is okay to ride in general, like if you can ride motocross, that first bit of learning in the day isn't really that taxing physically, but it's actually mentally probably more demanding, I think, on the road bike. Because I'm probably going faster, relatively, on the road bike than I am on the motocross bike. Yeah. In terms of whoever the top guys are there that day, I'm closer to those guys on the road bike than I am on a motocross bike by quite a bit, probably. So yeah, it's just a different stress. Lots of hard braking, and you hold onto the bike in a different way as well, and you're at much higher speed on the road bike. So it's just quite a different thing. They're both cool, and they translate as well. I think if you can get fit enough to ride 10 plus 12, 10 plus 2 on a motocross bike, then you can do 20 minutes on a road bike, depending on how fast you're trying to go. I can go quite quick, but I can't go fast enough to push the absolute limit of the bike, because I'm still trying to learn everything, still trying to learn tires, and I'm not a professional racer by any stretch. And ride a little bit, so I'll put
hanging on in there.
Yeah, I'm hanging on in there. Yeah. It's been a little while since I rode on track, but I got some nice video with one of the guys who come with us had a GoPro on his tank, so we got a nice video. It's cool. I'll put that up on the page.
Did you get to wheelie any pit bikes?
No wheelie enough pit bikes.
Does this mean the same in all countries?
More or less, yeah. Yeah, I think.
And if you're listening to this on Spotify, you need to go over to YouTube, because I'm not telling you what I just did.
Me neither. that also means so. So yeah, so really good. So we did, yeah, in total, you don't end up doing that much riding because you're doing 620, so you do 2 hours worth of riding over 2 days. But I felt sort of surprisingly good when I woke up on the second day, when we were actually the second day riding. But then this morning when I woke up after driving back, because quite a long drive, it's about a 5-hour drive. It was a little bit tired.
Whenever I see so Chris was posting a few bits on his stories. I think he's doing some racing. Chris Northover.
Yeah. Sorry, I was talking about Chris Rogers. Yeah,
Chris Northover's doing some sort of racing somewhere. I think he's getting fried in some heat somewhere. He said the Welshies can't handle the heat.
Yeah, he's doing dirt track
racing. Yeah, but whenever I see people posting about racing, there's a lot of sitting around.
There is a lot of
sitting around, a lot of barbecues, a lot of beers, a lot of sitting outside vans.
It's like a little holiday, to be honest, when people go. Like, we went to this track and we booked a little, like a, what do you call it? It wasn't an Airbnb, it was just like a booking.com, but yeah, basically an apartment for the group that went with us. But lots of people stay at the track and then they bring all their barbecue and everything, and they have a little campsite and their awning and the bike set up and stuff. And I think you tend to get a group of people who go and do the same event. So in the end, you end up knowing the people there. And if they're in the same group as you, then you can sort of, if you have a good ride with someone, you end up making more friends. So there's like a little bit of a community thing going on. And it's even stronger in racing, to be honest, because in racing, it really is the same people. Because if people are trying to do a championship, for example, then maybe the first 10 or 15 people are consistently there, 10 or 15 in each class.
Yeah.
And then maybe there's 5 or 10 classes, and they're all there, all the rounds, all the time. So the more races you go to, the more you start to know people, and maybe you help somebody or somebody helps you or whatever, and you get along.
Yeah. And there's probably like a considerable amount of investment in the bikes and stuff that you have to put in to then even get to the point where you go racing as well. So you're probably you're fairly all in by the time you actually get to a track to do it. So you probably see the similar groups of people, like similar circle of people there.
Yeah, because once they put the money in as well, then they
want to do it as much as they can,
and they're going to keep going. Yeah, and you can do it without putting a lot of time into the bike. Like the bike that I rode yesterday was basically completely stock. The bike doesn't have any major adjustable components on it, like the suspension isn't adjustable apart from preload on the back. You can do a little bit on the front end height in the pull through and the forks, and then we put some tires on it. That was it, and you could run in the race group. So you don't need to go crazy. And there are championships where the rules are basically it's a stock bike. Like Chris is going to race, I think in a couple of weekends' time, in a championship called the CB 500 Cup. I don't know if you remember CB 500. They're basically like a commuting bike, a parallel twin 500. And they have their own class for those because they're really quite cheap but quite fun. And I think you can do a bit of tuning to them, but there's limited rules on chassis, for example. I don't think you can do a lot with suspension, or you don't do anything with the frame, maybe a little bit with the motor, just a pipe or something. But you can basically buy one of those for about probably £2,000, something like that. So you can get going for not a crazy amount of money. I mean, £2,000 is still a lot of money compared to, I don't know, running, where you just buy a pair of trainers. But in the grand scheme of things in motorsport, like some guys who are racing like club level, in like a British championship in Britain, for example, might spend that in a couple of weekends in tyres if they're putting a set of tyres on every session, or they're doing it 2 days and they're putting £300 worth of tyres on every session. Maybe they
especially if they're Tom Cruise burning through them like Days of Thunder.
Burning through like nobody's business. Yeah. So you can spend some coin, or you can not spend some coin if you just want to go and have fun. Because most of the time as well, when you're starting out, the bike's not the limiting factor. If you can put some decent tyres on, then you're the limiting factor, basically. So just spend some money on yourself. Get fitter, good diet, do a bit of training, because there's lots and lots of training as well. It's like the more you do it, the more you realize like actually it's just important to go step by step. And when you go to the track, because you always go to the track and you just want to go fast straight away, and you start trying to go fast and you've got no idea where you're going. So you should work out the line, work out where to brake, pick your references, but that can take maybe that takes 2 or 3 times going to the track before you really know where you're going. And then that's quite a big investment just to work that out. So some people like to just go and ride, and they just like to go and ride around the track. And the fact that they've been on the track is cool. That's good. I remember going the first time, I was just like super excited just to go to the track and just flipping out because it was a track. It was cool. Just any old bike, and there was some borrowed leathers, and
just happy to be there.
Yeah, I'm just happy to be there. It's really cool. I mean, because it's like all I wanted to do. Remember, like in my room was like from the floor to the ceiling with just pictures of bikes and tracks and stuff. And like when I could actually go, it was just completely insane. Super cool.
Living the dream.
Living the dream. Yeah, it's still 20 years later, still excited to go to the track. It's cool. No, it's fun. It's really good. It's really cool. And a nice atmosphere as well, because we went with a couple of guys from work, so was good. Did
you have to drive, or did you share driving, or did you just sleep the whole way?
Yeah, one of the guys drove one way and I drove back. Yeah,
it's mighty fine of you. You're a gent.
Didn't have a choice on the way back because he went on his bike somewhere else.
Yeah, see ya. Take my stuff back. See ya.
Yeah, no, it was okay. No, it's fine. It's just on the way there it was all pretty much motorway, and on the way back it said to go a different way, but it's all pretty straightforward. It's just cruise back, no problem. It's a little bit of a trot. The tracks are a bit more spread out here. Like in Spain, where I was, there was probably 4 or 5 tracks within an hour.
Yeah.
But here there's like one track really close, but it's in Salzburg, and I think they have some issues with noise, so they can't run a lot of days. And then next closest one is Red Bull Ring, where they run MotoGP, but that's not open very often either. And then you've got sort of spread out into, this one was in Hungary, and then there's one in Slovakia, I think one in Croatia. There's a place in Italy, in Mugello, you can go, which is a pretty cool track. There's some stuff in Germany, but then they start to get really spread out.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's cool to go and see another place. Like, I've been to Budapest before in Hungary, but I've never been to the sort of local area in Hungary, which is where this is. It's just in a little village, basically, just on the edge of a little village. So that was cool.
Like Snetterton.
Yeah, it's basically similar setup to Snetterton. Yeah, because it's like a little village. It's bigger. The actual town, main town nearby, is bigger than Snetterton and closer. For example, they're not like the distance between Norwich and Snetterton. It's like 10-15 minutes, and then you're in a town at least. We had some food there, and they had a crazy Hungarian keyboard playing guy who was singing all night with this disco lights on behind him, which was surreal. But he was on it for the whole evening, just non-stop singing and playing his keyboard for, I don't know how long we were in there, 3 hours or 4 hours.
That's how he makes his shekels.
Yeah, he's on it.
On euros. Is it euros there? I suppose it is if they're in
No,
euros.
it's not. It's Florent. Florent.
Get your Florent on.
Yeah.
Didn't even know that was a currency.
They're in the EU, but they don't use the euro for some reason. Don't know the background of the story. Yeah. There's some places you can pay with euros. Like at the track, you could pay with euros for some things.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So, good. It was nice to be back on the track. Now I want to go back on the track even more. I've just been doing laps and laps and laps in my head all day.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's good.
Caught the bug.
Yeah, it's always there. It's always, but you sort of make it a little bit dormant. You know, it's like doing a competition.
Suppress the bug.
Like, yeah, you're like, well, I don't really like it that much. And you go and do it, and you're like, oh yeah, actually.
Yeah, actually, I fucking love it.
It's actually pretty sick. Yeah, actually, I just want to do that all day until my head falls off. That's cool. I got to try my airbag suit as well. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I settled that. Super.
Give us a 3-word review. It was good.
3-word review. Comfortable, affordable technology.
Oh, there you go. That's nice. That's better than I thought. That's better than it was good.
Yeah. Because it is a comfortable suit. It surprised me that I managed to actually pick a size from the internet.
Yeah.
Judging by my previous size from a different manufacturer that didn't fit very well. And I'd read some reviews saying this one was cut in like a sort of British cut, because it's a British company, RST. So they cut a little bit squarer than like some of the Italian brands, so cut a bit more slim. So I was like, okay, well, I'm a bit
more
squarer.
portly gent.
Yeah, so I was like, I'm a bit squarer than the Italian gent. So I went up a size compared to my Wolf ones, which I think Wolf, they might also be British. So it fitted okay. It's a bit awkward to get on because it's got like an integrated back protector, which is what the airbag is in. And what that means is like in the back of it, in my normal suit, because there's nothing holding the suit, there's no like structure to the suit, so the back can just fold down. Yeah. So you can put it on like you would imagine you were putting on just
trousers.
A pair of trousers or a pair of overalls, basically, that would just lets the back fall down, so you can put your legs in and then you can pick the rest up and put your arms in. But because this has got the back protector in, the back protector is like straight, so you can't really get in it. Like you have to sort of kind of like shimmy into it on the floor, so it's kind of awkward.
Yeah,
that's a bit of a downside. And then there's no indicator light on the outside because it's got a GPS unit that you have to charge.
Yeah,
and then it tells you if the airbag inflation device is connected properly, if the GPS is on, if it's got a battery, and all these things. But you can't see any of that from the outside, and it's in a pocket in the inside of the suit. So you have to take it off basically to check that, if you want to physically check. But there is an app, so this is all a bit like high tech for me. There's an app that connects to the GPS, and that tells you what the state of charge is for the battery, whether your inflator is correct, what mode you're in, because you can change it between a road and a track mode. It's got it detects different things depending on which mode you're in. But yeah, it was good. And for the temperature, it was pretty good. I was hot, but not like excessively hot. It's not a perforated suit, because you can get some suits which are fully perforated can get perforation in the whole body. The leather's got holes in to let air through. But it's not one of those, but actually it's pretty good, pretty surprising. And also tried my helmet on the track as well, which is a Shoei NXR. And that wasn't as good as I expected. That one, I was expecting that to be really good, because normally I use Shoeis, but the liner is a bit loose. So when I put it on, because this naked bike hasn't got a fairing or anything, so there's quite a lot of wind flow coming to you. And it was like rotating my helmet. So I'd be riding along and trying to look forward, and the thing's like shifting the helmet on my head with the liner inside it. Yeah, so that was a bit annoying. So I'd have to like try and flick it back into position.
Yeah, that does sound annoying.
To see where I was going.
Sort it out.
Also a lot of air. Yeah, also a lot of air going in it as well, but I don't think that was Shoei's fault. But then it dried my contact lens out, so I'm like riding around on the first lap trying to blink my contact lenses back into the plate. Yeah, there's a lot going on in the first couple of laps, but it was weird because like after the first 2 laps, that would all calm down, and then I could ride again. But like on the first 2, it was like pretty crazy.
It was like you're calibrating your head,
just like working out the airflow and because as well afterwards with the helmet, this like the position thing would eventually just like settle in position, which is kind of weird too. I was thinking about putting some Velcro or a little sticky pad or something inside just to hold the liner in place, because I think it's just that the liner is slipping in relation to the shell, so it's like just lifting itself up a little bit. Yeah, you need to be super comfy on the bike if you're thinking about other stuff that's not good. But like gloves are good, boots are good because I've used those before. Suit was cool. It was cool that the suit I don't have to put another back protector in the suit, but then I've got this like structural back issue trying to put the suit on. But the rest of it was pretty cool. Stayed in it all day, used 33% battery each day, which is cool. So you can do like 3 days straight of riding on the track before you need to charge your GPS unit. Sounds good. And not a crazy price either for an airbag suit.
Didn't say like 700 euros.
Yeah, it was about 650, I think, euros. So it's about
I listened.
Yeah, it's good.
This podcast should be changed to Matt tries to impart knowledge of motocross and motorsports to Will and see what he actually listens to. See what sinks in.
It might be useful one day. Don't know.
Yeah,
you might get the bug.
Well, it is quite useful because people watch the podcast and then they'll say to me stuff that's happened on the podcast, and I'll forget that I spoke about it on the podcast. I'm like, how do you know about that?
I told the internet, man.
Yeah.
That's
it's on the internet. I told him. I was like, how the fuck did I talk to you about that? I don't remember talking to you about that. He's like, oh yeah.
Who are you?
Talked about it on
the podcast. You anyway?
This is what happens when you broadcast stuff. Yeah.
I think I've just exhausted all my topics in one hit.
Did you get them all out?
Just blasted through everything. Apart from Pure Sport CBD, if they can do an intravenous CBD product, I'd like to try it because my entire body aches today.
Yeah.
From my tip of my head to the tips of my toes, I need a CBD injection.
I'll tell you what I've got to show you. I'll tell you what you
What
might be
you
interested in. As I have my magic bag here, and this isn't even on my topic list, but I thought I'd.
Is it your magic bag or is it your sac magique?
It's my sac magique. So I've got my big. Where's the camera? My big gym bag there.
Okay.
And within my big gym bag, you may have seen on my stories, I upgraded my massage gun. So talking about having aching muscles.
I think you told me about it. I'm not sure I saw it in your stories. You told me that it was too heavy to hold. Is that right?
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass. It's not too heavy, but it's just annoyingly heavy when you have to do your triceps and stuff after having worked your triceps. So I got a mini one. Did I tell you the story about getting this mini one and it was a load of shit? So I sent it back and got another one.
No.
Nope. Okay. So as you know, I don't like to spend a lot of money and I often put things in baskets and never buy them, but I've had these Amazon vouchers kicking around for a while. So if you've only got any Amazon vouchers left, you might be interested in this. So I was looking up these mini massage guns because I've got one which is a decent size. It's a handheld one, weighs about 800 grams. So not massively heavy, but if you've got to hold it up for 2 minutes and your arms are really tight, it's a bit of a pain in the ass. And it takes up quite a lot of room. The case is, the same size as a laptop case, but chunky. So everything is quite big and it takes up a lot of space. And so I was looking into these mini ones and seen like really expensive ones by Theragun and Hyperice and Hypervice. That's something like that. Where they're like, oh, it's like 200 quid, 300 quid. I'm like, I'm not paying that. I paid nothing. I got given it as a present for Christmas, but it's like 35, 40 quid for a massage gun, and it's fine and it works and it's, does the job. So then I wanted to get a smaller one for the reasons I just explained. And I found one for like 24 quid on Amazon. I thought, well, that looks all right. Checked a couple of things like what's the decibels on it? What is the RPM on it? And what is the battery capacity on it? And I was like, well, decibels, they need to be low, RPM and battery capacity needs to be high. I'll just go pull the trigger. This thing came through and oh my God, it was like the worst quality plastics and it was just really nasty. I charged it up, I tried to use it, and obviously a massage gun is meant to be like pushing into your skin, getting into your muscles, doing something. So I put it on my leg, to give it a test. And as I pushed into my leg, it stopped massaging my leg and started like vibrating my arm. So it's sending it back. It's sending it back into my body. I was like, this is not what I want. And it was basically just a pretty cheap and nasty looking thing. Like it was like shiny plastic and all this kind of crap. And I thought, no, I'm not having that. So that very day, arranged a return, dropped it off, got my money back. And then I started looking again, and a couple of people had recommended this one by a company called Physion. So what I did is I looked at the Physion one, and then I looked for the exact same thing, but with a different name on Amazon because they come out of the same factory. So Physion is like on sale at 70 quid. And I got this little bad boy by Jaeger for, it was like 35 quid. And it's pretty good. So I'm just going to give it a little.
Give me then,
4 speeds.
Give me then the 3-word review of the one you sent back and the 3-word review of this one.
So the 3-word review of the one I sent back was, this is shit. And the 3-word review of this one is, this is good. Now this feels, it's like it's made out of, it's like actually made out of metals. So it is like, it feels solid. It doesn't, there's no like, you can't like undo bits on it, whereas the other one just falls a bit. And yeah, you get different like massage gun heads and things and stuff like that. So yeah, and it's just a lot easier to use and carry around and stick up your butt if you need to.
Let's do what? How much does it weigh compared to the other?
That's 500.
500 grams.
500 grams compared to 800 grams. So it's a little bit of a weight saving, but it's a big space saver, which is good.
How do you hold the other one? How do you hold the big one?
So the other one is, yeah, so you hold it by the hand. It's just, it looks like that, but it's just a
bigger.
lot bigger, so it's a lot bulkier. I've put it on my stories. I'll just quickly grab it up and see if I can flash it up in front of the camera so you can see the difference in size. But so they're basically the same cost. Let's hold that down. Can you see that?
Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay.
So it's like the little one is the size of the
it's about half
handle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so that's good. A little bit of progress on that.
I don't have a gym bag, so I don't need to save any space.
No, but if you want to feel like better, like because I use an app called GoWOD for mobility stuff, and you tell it what you want to do. So this morning when I was squatting, I put into GoWOD, I'm going to do back squat today, and it would give me 8 or a 12-minute, 10 or a 15-minute mobility warm up. You tell it you've got a massage gun, and it builds in like stuff to massage. So it was something like banded pigeon, glute activation with a hip circle, all that kind of stuff. And then like, okay, 30 seconds full speed on your glutes with the massage gun, and then away you go. And then on the other end, you tell it, well, I've got like 8 minutes or 12 minutes to do a post-WOD or post-workout bit of recovery or mobility, and it will tell you, okay, use 2 minutes on your left quad, 2 minutes on your right quad, 2 minutes on your left hamstring, 2 minutes on your right hamstring, 2 minutes on your glute. And it just I do that pretty much every single time I train.
You must have about hundreds of hours on that now.
I've got,
you've got the 100-hour patch.
Yeah, I've got the 100-hour patch on the bag. I've got something like, but that, yeah, it clocks up for doing pre and post workout mobility, and also the daily. And I've not really touched the daily in a while, but I'm on to 232 hours.
You didn't get a 200
WODing. I think 250 maybe 250. So yeah, but it's going a bit slower now because since I've had to do the rehab stuff for my knee, I've dropped out the daily mobility because it's just something else to do. And it's just like, yeah, I could do it, but actually I wouldn't mind just chilling out for a bit without having to stretch myself or pretzel myself for like 22 minutes. It's something else. It's just something else.
I used it for a bit and GoWOD.
Yeah, I like it. I feel like I feel like the warm-up sets feel better after I've done the mobility rather than before. I would just, okay, let's do squatting with the barbell for 10 and then 40 kilos for 10, and then I'll get onto my first set. I still do that, but I do it after I've done.
But you're doing it slightly warm.
Slightly warm, slightly
prepared. The Juggernaut AI app has a little warm-up every day.
Yeah.
There's a little tiny bit of mobility in it. It's more like joint prep and some movement prep. It's good though.
Yeah.
It's good. Like the sort of scat push-ups for when you have an upper body day, and what else has it got in there? Dead bugs and bird dogs and that sort of thing. It's lots of that. Yeah.
I was just about to say that often the warm-up feels the hardest, but it only feels hard because you're not warm. And then the workout feels the hardest because it's hard. And then the assistance feels the hardest because you're tired.
Really hard,
and then everything feels hard. But I was a couple of times recently when they've been doing back squat at the box and other things where they've been doing like strength progression things, and sometimes that's like someone say, oh, it's a bit of a chore. I have like my first set is at 60 kilos or whatever it is. It's like they do the warm up of the movement with the barbell, and then they're trying to get to a certain percentage max or top set for the day, and then they work backwards in percentage and go, I have to start with 60. Well, you don't have to. If you want to do like 40 kilos, just jump in and do it. It's just an extra set you've got to do. It's like there's nothing stopping you from doing that. Like just crack on and do it. But I don't know. I think it takes it a little bit literally sometimes. Like you've got this amount of sets in this workout. We'll just add another one in. It's going to make you feel better. It's going to make that 60 kilos feel lighter if you do a 40 before it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it takes people a little bit of time, doesn't it, to work all that stuff out for themselves. Yeah. What makes them feel good or what makes them feel bad. And that, like we were saying the other week as well, when you work up to a top set and then you come back down, like you put the other weight on the bar and bikes, and then when you're coming back down, all of a sudden they feel light again, and all that prep work and different steps, or if you go into big jumps and stuff like that, can ruin a top set, can't it?
Yeah.
So it's quite important.
I get that feeling 4 times a week, every week, because I do the first set last. So on the way up and I hit that first working set, I'm like, oh man, it's like always like a set of 5, and I'm like, oh man, I've got to do this for like 3 sets of 8 afterwards. Oh fuck, this is heavy. I'm barely getting this 5 out. And then I get back down to it and I'm like, oh, it's fine.
Yeah, it's crazy that, like, I don't know what they call it. There's a particular word for that, isn't there? But I can't remember what it is. But basically, once you've activated everything and it's all ready to go and primed, like everything is primed, and to come back down to that way, it feels easier, which is cool. I don't have any of that in the juggernaut, really. They're like quite close after the top set when you do the back off sets. They don't come down very much. It's like a top set of, for example, 100 kilo squat for 10 or whatever, then it's like 5 sets of 97.5 for 10. Oh, God.
Yeah. Go on then, bring it on.
Treat.
I didn't have to. I squat this morning in the garage quite early because I was awake at something like 4:30, 5. I just couldn't get back to sleep, so I thought, right, I'll just start doing some bits. And I don't know if you've ever tried to squat in complete silence, but it is not fun. It's not complete silence. No. I redid my little J hooks,
little buffers,
my little buffers. So
J hook buffer.
Oh, yeah. I've retaken. So they've got underneath the little self-adhesive thumb tape that I use with bandage. There's the resistance bands, the physio bands. So it's got like, I've created my own sound deadening J hooks, because if you put a barbell on this, it's like quite shooting noisy. A gun. It's so fucking loud. And then what I did, when you can hear that, start doing that. Because
imagine that dropping 140 kilos on it.
Exactly. So then what I did was my sac magique here again.
You keep turning your head to the side. Have you managed to cut the side of your hair but not the top of your hair?
Yeah, I've got an undercut now. Bringing it back. I'll show you.
1995 called.
Bringing it back.
His haircut back. Yeah.
So what I did, because I'm squatting, as you've seen on the videos, I walk it out forwards and then I rack it back.
Yeah, because you're wrong.
I know, that's the only way I can do it. I actually used these wraps and I wrapped that around the post there. So when I walked it back, it also had like cushioning. It
doesn't clang on the way back.
Because you can see there's some marks on here where it clangs and then I drop it in, because you don't want to be like, oh, really gently lower this onto the. You want to get rid of it.
Let's get this off my back.
So
pending, don't steal that idea.
Yeah, that
GBA is sound deadened pins,
pins and rack action. But that was quite good. But it was really difficult to, because normally I'll get some music on and I'll do a bit of grunting and stuff and even a little yup. But if you don't want to wake people up, you can't really do that.
You have to go.
Yeah. So that was
you can't even go like, wake up, let's go. Come on, fuck yeah.
So 136 kilos for 5 on the box.
Yeah,
it was a top set. And then because I'm going to London for 2 days, we're having a little family city weekend trip.
London Village.
I wanted to get a little bit of extra fitness in, so I went to the box at 9:15. So I finished squatting at about 7:30 in the morning. Had a little iced my knee, balmed my knee, all that kind of stuff, and then I went to the CrossFit box where the workout was in pairs. It was 250 cal row, or as many calories as you could do in 8 minutes, which is, if you were to do it, you'd have to row at 32 calories a minute, which is fast. I didn't get anywhere near it. Me and Kev did 168 calories on that. And then you had 2 minutes rest. And then it went into, it was like when one person was doing the squats, the other person was doing burpee box jump overs. So you had to do 6 burpee box jump overs onto a 30-inch box. So the tallest version of the box, burpee over 6 times. And whilst one of you was doing that, the other one was doing 6 overhead squats into 6 back squats into 6 front squats. And we went light with the weight. We did it 40 kilos because I'm still obviously rehabbing my knee and wanted to see how that goes. And once we'd done 6 of each things each. So 6 of the squats and 6 of the burpees each. We then did you go, I go, run 200 meter, 400 meter, 200 meter runs around the building until the time cap. And we got something like 10 laps in. So I've done leg day.
Yeah, you've done leg day twice in one day. So what was that? 6? So one person's doing 6 burpee jump over things, and at the same time the other person is just doing one version of the squats.
No, the other person. So if I'm on the barbell, my work before I get to swap out with my partner is 6 overhead squats into, put racket on your back.
Doesn't that take a lot longer though than the 6 burpees?
If you go slow, yeah. And then put it up over your head onto your front, and then 6 front squats. Imagine it with 40 kilos. It's not like super bad. It's not that taxing. It's not like you're grinding them out, but yeah, it takes a bit of time. But then burpee box jump overs on a 30-inch box, you have to, like, unless you're really confident and really rapid, you have to like, okay, I've got to make this jump. Otherwise you just stack it and it's not.
But you jump over the whole thing.
You jump up. You could jump over it if you wanted to jump all the way over it, but it's burpee, jump onto the box and over the other side, turn, burpee, up and over, turn, burpee, up and over 6 times. So yeah, if you're burpeeing, then you probably get a little rest before you have to go and pick up the barbell.
So it's a burpee one side, you jump over it and you do a burpee the other side, and then you jump back over it, and you just do a burpee every time you land on one side, you do a burpee.
Yeah, so 1 rep is burpee onto the box and off the other side. That's 1 rep. So then you burpee and come back 2 reps, burpee, come back 3 reps. Okay. So every time you land on the other side, that's a rep.
So if you're a human frog, would you have an advantage in that particular?
Yeah, but I don't think a human frog exists. You could either be a human or a frog.
What about
if you're a froggy?
What about a Hugh frog?
It helps if you're taller. So if you're short, then 30 inches, like there's some smaller people.
Come up to my shoulders.
Yeah, man. There's smaller people. That's a big jump. But then if you're taller, you've got a lot of more of limb to sort of like wave around and get out of the way and stuff and pull up.
Oh, so the squat, you have to go a long way with the squats and everything, don't you?
Yeah.
And hold that above with your ganglio arms above your old Swede.
Yeah. So we were doing, it was quite good because we were doing it was like, you know, where they do pursuit on bicycles in like the velodrome, they like start the other side and then they like try and catch each other up. So it was a little bit like that because you're in pairs. So you come back and then you tag the other person, they run round. And like, if it's like 3 of us did exactly the same amount of laps, but there was like a faster person in the pair. So like I was trying to chase down like somebody else in another pair, and I would like just get ahead of that person, tag my partner in. They would go, the other person would tag their partner in. Their partner was super quick, so just like blitzed it round ahead and then set off their slower person. So I'd like try and catch that, and I'd try and pass them sooner every single time. Like, and then I know, right, I'm getting ahead. But yeah, it was good. It was good fun. But that's my legs, man. And then I had to do my rehab, which is, have I told you what I'm doing now for rehab?
Don't think so.
I changed it from, it was lots of glute bridging and lots of like static holds in single leg squat positions. And now it's different. It's like stand 1 foot on the bottom step of the stairs, and then you just like do sort of down without tilting your hips. So you just like step down with the other leg. It's 3 sets of 12 on each leg of that, which doesn't take any time. Then it's single leg squat to a chair, 3 sets of 12 on each leg. And then it's body weight split squats with your foot like on the chair or the bench, 3 sets of 12. So it doesn't take hardly any time, but it's the same movement, but a gradual increase in the range of the squat movement for each leg. So it's pretty spicy on the old legs.
Yeah, if you spin through that in a hurry, then
it's like 10 to 15 minutes, depending on what mood I'm in, and it's bloody hot as well. So I'm often just doing it in my pants in the garage with the fan on,
larging it in your pants,
sweating through everything. So yeah, so today was leg day.
Very good. I didn't do anything today. So I will train tomorrow. Yeah, I didn't really do that much this week because of traveling and riding and stuff. So I'm going into like the big week now for Juggernaut. So actually tomorrow I might take the opportunity that I will be semi-fresh and do a max squat and a max bench.
Nice. Don't squash yourself.
Yeah, I'll try.
I've just finished the first one's week of the new cycle.
Mm-hmm. And how was it then with the reset? I saw a bench, that looked pretty good, man.
Yeah.
90 something for 5.
Bench was 97 for 5. Clipped the rack on the 4th one, so that was irritating.
Oof.
The 97 for 5 is an okay set.
That's a good set. Well, that's exactly where it should be now, according to Mr. Jimothy.
Yeah, on the 5s, yeah.
5s on the
deadlift was 168 for 5, which is okay.
Yeah.
Overhead press is 50 kilos for 6, which is okay. And then squat, 136 for 5. Squat, I never normally squat that early, and I did it without having any food. So it just felt a bit different and a bit odd, but I still got 5 reps out. And that's what I wanted to get was 5s, at least 5s on everything. So that's cool.
Yeah, so you go for 5s again in the next one. See how you get on.
Stay on the 5s vibe if I can.
5s in. That's the.
They say 1 or more, but you need 5.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Is like mentally, it's a little bit tiring, isn't it? Because the actual 5s week themselves are a bit of a slugfest sometimes, aren't they, with the 5s? And then now it means it turns everything into minimums of 5s, doesn't it? But,
yeah. And then after I did my training, I went and got my vaccine done. Okay. Number 1.
First one. Do you know what you got? Do you know what it was? Pfizer.
Pfizer.
So that one.
It's the gold standard, apparently. One? Well, my arm's a little bit sore, but it's nothing.
When did you get that done?
This morning, about 11 o'clock.
Okay. And it's okay. Because mine, the first one was okay, but the second one hurt. The second one was sore.
It's like a little bit sore.
KO'd me in the afternoon. But I think as well, did they tell you not to train? They told me not to train, but I trained anyway. And actually, it was better.
This is one of the reasons why I did it today, was because I am not going to be training tomorrow or the day after, and I'm going into deload week. So I thought if I'm going to feel ropey from it, then this is the best time to do it. And it was okay. I just sort of went into the little walk-in center. The woman said, I asked for my information. She said, "Oh, have you got a booked appointment?" And I said, "No, I'm a walk-in." She said, "Okay, is this going to be your second vaccine?" And I was like, no, this is my first one. Felt like I was a bit late to the party, but I haven't felt like I needed to go and get one because I was just working from home and not really doing anything. And then she was having,
up and get one.
And then she was having a bit of issues with her computer, so I stood there for like 5 minutes while she rebooted her computer. And then she said, "So you've booked an appointment, haven't you?" I was like, "No, I'm a walk-in." And she went, "And this is your second? When did you have your first vaccine?" I was like, "No, this is my first vaccine." I was like, "Thanks for listening."
Yeah, she can go. Computer says no.
Yeah, but that's fine. Yeah, they gave me the old spiel. Got my card. Tried to pump the app into me, saying, "Have you got the NHS app?" Nope. I was like, "Well, I got the track and trace one." She's like, "No, there's another one. You have to get it." And then it was like, it takes you 15. It's just like it takes you about 15 minutes to put all your information in. I was like, "Nope."
Sweetheart, that's about 14.9 minutes too long.
No, thank you.
Yeah, sorry, but no.
But apparently,
do you not have the next one?
They apparently like loads all your information into the database, and then on your app I don't really get much of the only point I saw from the app was that if somebody needed to see like that you'd had the vaccine for some sort of vaccine passport, then they would be able to scan your QR code on your app.
Yeah, well, in Europe I had because you guys aren't in Europe anymore.
Not in the Union.
My vaccine certificate arrive in the post, and that's got a QR code. So like to go to Hungary, I took it with me because it's recognised in the EU, so everywhere. If you don't have that, then you have to have a negative test or proof that you've had corona and you have antibodies. So that's basically how you can move around here. So if you travel somewhere, then you'll need something to prove that, or you get a test.
Yeah, I don't really do the traveling. Don't do much traveling.
Yeah, none of that.
Not out of this country
None of that.
In a long old time. Yes. Yeah, that was pretty much my list because it's only, what day is it? Saturday.
Yeah, a bit early. You're going to do all the stuff you're going to need to tell me about.
The next one I'll be packed full of.
It's going to be jam packed.
London stories. London.
I
might say it right. London.
All right.
Good day, mate.
Do you like a cup of tea?
Yeah.
Best London accents.
Reminds me of being Dumb and Dumber when when he says that woman says she's from Austria, and he goes, "Oh well, good day, mate. Throw another shrimp on the barbie."
That's quality.
Great film, awesome film.
She's a classic. Yeah, I haven't really got anything else, dude.
It's a light week. It's a light news week. Racing, ones week. Silent squats. Massage guns and vaccines.
Yeah. Hopefully I don't get washed away in the morning. That would be marvelous.
Monsoon season.
Good. And then I'll be able to update. I'll do that max tomorrow. I'll do a squat max. Is that a good idea? Not really. I'll do it anyway. I need to do it though because my app is coming up with it keeps giving me like
your squat max is 195.
Yeah, so that's
it isn't money.
60 plus 6 sets of 10. It's like I can't do this for the rest of my life. I need to actually put some weight on it because I was looking at some videos from last year just before I came out, and I managed to get going again. Okay. And I was thinking, okay, yeah, I'll be at least if I get back to the same place, that's good, and then I can get rolling again. But then, so I blew out my hip. So I haven't gone back there.
There we go. Let's find out what their maxes are at. Do you want to see this undercut before we finish?
Yeah, hit me.
See my 90 star because I've got like some curtains on the go. So,
is this a thing now again? Then, like, what is this about? Why would you do that? Did you ask? You actually ask that, or the guy?
Claire just clipped it for me.
Claire did it. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it to make it more fresh, Auntie? Or
I just don't know what to do with it.
Just cut it off, dude.
I've put some time into it now. Look at that.
Yeah, but you haven't resolved the issue.
What issue?
You still have to wear a hairband. If you still have to wear a hairband as a male, there is an issue.
I told you, like I told that guy, it is a high performance follicle retention system. It's not an Alice band.
Okay.
I think it's good.
You can agree to disagree.
As long as I've got hair that I can grow, I'll be happy. What would happen if I chopped it off and it never grew back?
Yeah, you have got enough hair. You give me a bit of that.
Should I try and move it over? Where are you? That side?
Yeah. No, I'm on the other side. I'm doing. You have to come to the middle. Unless we're on that.
That was the middle for me.
The other way.
So you're
the other way, man. That's not the other way. That's the
when we record this, dude, we're touching heads. So you are not that way. You are that side. I'm pointing at you.
Not on my screen, you're not, but
it's going to be recorded this way. We need this will be the screenshot.
Who am I pointing at?
Are you going to go my way?
Who am I pointing at? Cool. All right.
Yeah,
let's roll. I'll tell you what my maxes are.
It's your bedtime.
When I've got them.
Hit it.
What am I hitting?
I don't know. Subscribe.
Yes. Hit the like and subscribe.
Yeah.
It's just dead for everybody.
Noise cancelling. Just took that out. Just silent.
To do that.
Hit it.
I'm not very good at that yet.
Yeah, you've got to get that camera.
Oh, that's quite good. We could do it. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Oh man, you have to do it on 3, 2, 1. Bump.
It must be lag.
Then go on 1. 3, 2, 1.
It's the same.
It's not
I'm doing it at the same time. I've done the same thing 3 times, and it's all fine. It's all fine.
It's perfect.
I'll do that one instead.
Ones. Great success.
Normally we do that at the start. We've done it all back to front.
Done it all in reverse.
Right, dude.
Catch you later on.
See ya. Bye.